Mitro, hello and welcome to episode 19 of my show, Interesting Facts and Quotes. And as usual, I have for you today 25 interesting facts and 5 interesting quotes. And without wasting any time, here we go. 1. Boiling the ocean. I repeat, boiling the ocean generally means to go overboard or to delve deep into such small details that a project becomes impossible. The phrase boil the ocean appears in business as well as other settings. In the literal sense, boiling the ocean is impossible because there's too much water for it to be possible. 2. What are brown, grey and white goods? Brown goods are consumer electronics, grey goods are computers, etc. and white goods are domestic appliances. These are collective names for different types of electronic equipment. These goods also include equipment powered by batteries such as computers, monitors, industrial dishwashers, ventilation units, etc. 3. What is the difference between advertising and publicity? Advertising is what a company says about its own product, but publicity is what others say about a product. Conversely, publicity is done by a third party which is not related to any company, whereas advertising is under the control of the company, which is just opposite in the case of publicity. 4. Mumbai discharges 750 metric tons of plastic every day, which is a sixth of its total garbage. 5. McKinsey and Company, an American worldwide management consulting firm, estimates that tech giants would worldwide spend anywhere between 20 to 30 billion dollars on artificial intelligence in 2016. 6. Till 1985, marijuana and cannabis, that is ganja and bhang, derivatives were legally sold in the country through authorized retail shops in India. It is believed moderate consumption of marijuana is far less harmful than tobacco and even alcohol. 7. Once an old rabbi asked his pupils how they could tell when the night had ended and the day had begun. Could it be, asked one of the students, when you can see an animal in the distance and tell whether it's a sheep or a dog? No, answered the rabbi. It is when you can look at a tree in the distance and tell whether it's a fig tree or a peach tree, wondered another pupil. Again the rabbi answered no. The impatient pupils demanded, then what is it? It is when you can look on the face of any man or a woman, and see that it is your sister or brother, because if you cannot see this, it is still midnight. Well, in this particular small story, the message is that everybody on this earth is either your brother and sister, so you must treat it as one family. 8. Although we are second to China in population, our country is adding almost an entire Australia each year. I'll repeat that again. Although we are second to China in population, our country is adding almost an entire Australia each year. 9. Recently published data shows that a quarter of white extremist attacks in Europe since 2015 targeted Muslims and mosques. And now you have the Sri Lanka terror attack. 10. It's always been the nature of government that it underpays at the top and overpays at the bottom. 11. The latest report of the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, released recently states that Indian agriculture may be significantly impacted even by a 1.5 degree centigrade increase in average global temperature. 12. According to the Indian Healthcare Market Research Report 2016, our healthcare sector is one of the largest in terms of employment and revenue generation, growing at a CAGR compound annual growth rate of 16.5%. It will possibly be worth $280 billion by 2020. The 2017 National Health Policy seeks to increase government spending from the abysmally low 1.4% to 2.5% of India's GDP. 13. Russia has lost more than it has won through its policy of confronting the West. 14. Rivers have been the lifeline of all civilizations. No wonder they are considered sacred across cultures. In India, the Ganga symbolizes knowledge. Yamuna was known for love stories. Narmada stood for bhakti, knowledge and logic. Saraswati for brilliance and architecture. And India got its name from the Sindhu, also known as Indus. 15. The name Punjab has been derived from 5 rivers, which are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas and Sutlej, that collectively signify 5 waters or land of 5 waters, starting off in the Tibetan highland of western China near Lake Mansarovar in Tibet autonomous region. The Indus River flows through Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. 16. One of the longest rivers in the world, the Sindhu, also known as Indus, has a total length of over 2,000 miles and runs south from the Kailash mountain in Tibet all the way to Arabian Sea in Karachi, Pakistan, where Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas and Sutlej eventually flow into the Indus. 17. Russia has no companies in the top 100 global brands. The 3 most valuable companies in Russia today were also the 3 most valuable 10 years ago. 18. The brain contains 10 billion nerve cells, making thousands of billions of connections with each other. It is the most powerful data processor we know, but at the same time it is incredibly delicate, as soft as a ripe avocado. The brain has to be encased in the tough bones of the skull and floats in its own waterbed of fluid. An adult brain weighs over 3 pounds and fills the skull. It receives 1/5 of the blood pumped out by the heart at each beat. 19. 82% of the wealth generated last year went to the richest 1% of the global population, while the 3.7 billion people who make up the poorest half of the world saw no increase in their wealth. Adding Indian dimension to the horror story of global equity, the report added India's richest 1% garnered as much as 73% of the total wealth generated in the country in 2017. 20. India is a water-stressed country with per capita water availability reducing from 1820, that is 1820 to 1545 cubic meters between 2001 and 2011. 21. Online retail in India is estimated to grow to $200 billion by 2026, up from just $15 billion in 2016. 22. Car penetration. India is around 20 per thousand people. China is at 90 per thousand people, and the US is at 750 per thousand people. 23. Greenpeace International, an NGO, estimated that beverage giant Coca-Cola produced 110 billion throw away plastic bottles in 2015. Most of these go to landfills or to the ocean. Owing up to its responsibility, the company recently announced that it would make all its packaging recyclable by 2030. That's a good move, good news. 24. Tripura has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country and suffers from lack of infrastructure. Manik Sarkar of the Communist Party of India, Marxist, served as the Chief Minister of Tripura from 1998 to 2018, that is 20 years. And during his reign was the longest in the state's history, yet the place lacks in employment. 25. Prices are the only thing that defy the law of gravity. And now friends, some interesting quotes and lines. In depth of the winter, I finally learned that there was in me an invincible summer. This quote is by Albert Camus, French philosopher, author and journalist. 2. Once again. Said Robert Browning, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. 3. Don Marquis once joked, an idea is not responsible for the people who believe in it. 4. Everyone dies, but not everyone lives. Shobha Day. 5. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving, said Albert Einstein. So friends, that's all I have for today. If you like my show, kindly share it. Also press the like icon. Also subscribe our channel by pressing the red icon, and don't forget to press the bell so that you are notified each time we upload a video. And for now, goodbye and see you soon.